So in the last month or so, I've reviewed 3 pretty affordable Daps, and that's kind of one of the things that I love and hate about the audio hobby, and that is that it can accommodate almost any budget, and that certainly applies to Daps, right? I mean, you can spend $3,000 on the Kern and Ultima, or even $3,500 on the Ibasso 320 Max Ti. But how many of us can even afford that? I know I can't, but thankfully now almost anyone can afford one of these. And if you're on a really tight budget, but you still want to be able to at least play some of your saved music files from a micro SD card, then the Snow Sky Echo Mini could be a pretty affordable option for you. So no, this is not a fully featured DAP, and this is obviously not compatible with streaming apps, but we're also talking about a $50 device. And what you do get is 8 gigs of internal memory, a micro SD slot that is compatible with cards up to 256 gigs of storage. And another cool feature is that it can play back your higher resolution audio formats like DSD and FLAC files. You also get a screen and a very simple but functional interface. You get playback controls, Bluetooth, and internal battery. Now there is one feature or function that it does not have, and that is it cannot be used as a dongle. So the USB input serves only as a battery charging port, and it cannot receive an audio signal, which basically means you can't plug it into your phone or PC and use it as a dongle style DAC. Again though, we're talking about a $50 device. But in my opinion, more importantly, what makes this a good value is that in addition to its features, you also get pretty decent audio quality. Not amazing, but it still sounds really good. And what this does offer that the Retro Nano does not is that this can function as a standalone player. So you can play music without having it connected to anything with a USB cable. So it sounds good. It's feature packed for the price. It can function again as a standalone player, and it's very compact and light. But most importantly, it's again only $50, which is kind of nuts. Now, this next item, I kind of struggled with whether or not to include it in this video, because while on the sound performance side, I do think it's good, although I do think it's about on par with, I guess, some of my better $100 dongles. But on the feature side and the UI side, it's, well, let's just say it's a little rough around the edges for its $210 asking price. And I'm referring to the Xduoo X5. And in the end, even though I wish the UI would have gotten a little more attention, and I also wish this was compatible with some streaming apps and also had newer Bluetooth, I do feel like it still at least deserves a mention, and here's why. Aside from its limitations, it does still bring a couple of things to the table. It does sound good. It still offers, again, standalone functionality, or it can be used as a dongle style DAC, so you can connect this to your phone or PC and play audio from an external source. Its power output is also pretty decent at 275 milliwatts out of the balanced output. It has a micro SD slot that is compatible with SD cards up to 1 terabyte. It can play higher bitrate audio formats like DSD 256 or 32-bit PCM, and it's actually built like a little tank. So is it your best DAP option at this $200 price point? No, but it is certainly a reasonably good option if its limitations aren't a deal breaker for you. Now, this next device is what I feel the best DAP option at the $200 price point. As a matter of fact, in the thumbnail of the review of this device, it says simply, you can't beat it. I'm talking about the FiiO Jade Audio JM21. So this is also a $200 DAP, and it brings all of the same features the X5 offers, plus brings increased power output up to, what, 700 milliwatts out of the 4.4 balanced output. So it does a really good job even driving some of my higher impedance full-size headphones. It also brings an updated UI featuring Android 13 and streaming app compatibility, and just a generally pretty solid user experience for this price point with the Snapdragon 680 processor. It has a 2 terabyte compatible micro micro SD card slot, a pretty nice 4.7-inch color display. So even if I'm just looking at this purely from a feature perspective only, for this price point, it's already bringing a lot to the table. And we haven't even talked about its sound performance yet. But here's the thing, in terms of its sound quality, if we are not taking drivability and power output into consideration, and if we are only considering sound quality, it's not really any better than the X5. That's why I think if they had maybe priced the X5 at even $150, even a little bit more, it may have been received a little differently within the audio community. In any case, the JM21 is, in my opinion, probably comparable to some of my $100 dongles, at least just in terms of sound clarity and sound quality, which on its own, I guess, really isn't anything special, but when combined with its insane feature set, that's what kind of pushes this past all of the competition, in my opinion. So if you are looking for what is basically a fully functioning standalone digital audio player with streaming capability on a budget, like my thumbnail says, I just don't think the JM21 can be beat. Now, one last DAP I do want to mention, while I don't know if it's necessarily the best value because it is a little more expensive. I think right now I'm seeing it priced anywhere between $500 and $550. The reason I feel like it deserves at least a quick mention is because it was the first DAP that had ever come across my review desk that when I plugged my higher end IEMs and headphones into it, it gave me some of the best audio performance I had ever heard around the $500 price point. And the DAP I'm talking about is the Ibasso DX180. Unfortunately, I don't have that on hand right now, although I will run some pretty B-roll in the background so you don't have to stare at my empty desk. And I am kind of, I don't know, I guess you could say I'm a DAP enthusiast, but I know some of you probably have way more and way nicer DAPs than I do. But I do like a good DAP, and Ibasso is, without question, one of those companies that has earned my utmost respect when it comes to not just their attention to detail and quality of the design and construction, but on the sound engineering side. When I think of Ibasso, the Ibasso brand, one of the first things that comes to mind is that they are a company that takes audio very seriously, and they are in serious pursuit of creating products that provide audio excellence. And I kind of see FiiO that way too, and even Xduoo. Really, again, this whole half of my desk is filled with excellent Xduoo products. And I guess that's one of the reasons I wanted to make this video, because when I started dabbling in this part of the audio hobby, probably 8-10 years ago, I don't think I could have spent any less than $1,000 or maybe even more to get anywhere close to having this level of audio quality and this level of convenience and portability. And again, I love that you have companies like FiiO and Ibasso that are pushing DAP technology further and again are, in my opinion, really playing a huge role in progressing and driving the portable audio hobby and trying to make what used to be out of reach for a lot of us, a lot of hobbyists, now very much within reach. So there you go. I hope you guys found this helpful, or at least interesting. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. If you like Xaudio's content, please take a second and hit that subscribe button. And if you would like to go a step further, you can also support us through our Patreon. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description. If you would please like this video, please share this video. Please also comment below on this video, because I would love to hear about some of your favorite DAPs or your DAP collection. I hope you guys have an awesome day.